been said that there are two sides to every story. Well, I beg to differ. For there are higher levels in this stated existence. For there is an absolute truth. For there is an almighty God. And yes, we are made in His image. So therefore, activate G-Vision.
Welcome to another episode of G-Vision. We are sitting here with Sir L and his two beautiful baby girls, Elise and Alyssa Squire. Say hi.
Hi.
So, we are at the Slave Trails here in Virginia. Just taking a tour on the trail. It's about an hour and 35 minutes long, but we did one portion of it. And I'm sitting here with Sir L, and he's going to give us a little insight on his thoughts and his views of how he feels about this slave trail and everything that's going on now in the world. So, welcome, Sir L.
Thank you for having me, Queen Ashley.
All right, Sir L. So, just got a couple quick questions for you. So like I said, we're out here at the slave trail, and one question is, how do you feel being from Virginia, born and raised? You're 32, lived here all your life, and this is the first time you have ever walked these slave trails. How does that feel?
Well, it's a group of mixed emotions. One is empowerment, one is disappointment. Empowerment because as I walk through here, I have my three queens, my two princesses and my one actual queen, but with me, my family, my nucleus, to actually do this with me for the first time. So that's empowering. Also, I have with me the spirit of the ancestors with me. The blood, sweat, and tears that came through here and basically paved the way for what you see going on right now, which is the strong black family. The strong black family being put back together once again. So I'm empowered. I'm also empowered because I have on the ensemble of one Pan-Africanist, which is Dr. Umar Johnson. And this unapologetically African, wearing this on this trail, is definitely empowering for me. And I pray that it resonates to the hearts and the souls and the minds of other like-minded people out there in the World Wide Web as well, because unapologetically African is the recourse to be now. I see that as primary and fighting this fight, because you should not be afraid to be who you are. We're in our skin, and it's not our fault that we are the mothers and fathers of civilization, but it is our fault that since we are the mothers and fathers of civilization, that we disrespected God and ended up in the holds of slave ships as we did. So that is our fault. So how do I feel as I walk through this slave trail for the first time? Well, as I stated, it is a sense of empowerment knowing that we used to be marched through here. This was a conduit as we first made it to the quote-unquote New World, coming off of the Atlantic Ocean. We know that coming off of that Atlantic Ocean, that can translate into the James River down there in Yorktown and Jamestown, Virginia. And that river, as long as this Appomattox River, the Rappahannock River, they all come up the side of Virginia. So these rivers, especially the James River, is very important when it comes to commerce in early America. And when we talk about commerce in early America, we cannot talk about it without talking about the cash crop, and the cash crop was slaves. So, you know, I'm empowered to be able to do this and not have a chain around my neck, around my hands, bare feet, with boils, lashes on my back, unfed, and hopeless. I'm proud to be here with my family, so I'm empowered for that. But I'm disappointed in the fact that it's a multifaceted level of disappointment, because I'm disappointed, first of all, in my own people. And not in anyone specifically, but my own people as a whole, being that I and so many other young brothers and sisters have no knowledge of this. You know, we kind of know that Virginia is where slavery started and all this, but I had no knowledge that I was born right down the street, MCV Hospital, 1983. I had no knowledge that Virginia was so rich in the history of slaves. I had no knowledge that right up the street from where I currently reside at, in Petersburg, Virginia, there's the first African settlement, which they call Pocahontas Island. And that was never talked about, explained, mentioned. Nothing was ever mentioned of that in my schooling, in my church, in my home, nothing of that. So this Pocahontas Island, this slave trail, nothing else was taught to us more in history about slavery other than that. It started in Jamestown, Virginia. We were slaves. It was bad. They fought the Civil War. Now slavery is over. Pull your bootstraps up. Deal with it. So, you know, like I said, I'm empowered and I'm disappointed. But overall, I'm just overwhelmed with a sense of empowerment, because I won't let my disappointment get the best of me.
All right, well said, great wisdom. So, in society today, they say slavery is a thing of the past. We should get over it. You know, we got our day in history, Black history, not a day, but a month. We got our month in history. Remember it then, don't talk about it ever again. You know, they're trying to write slavery out of the history books and just make it like almost like a fairy tale story.
Right.
I mean, how do you feel about that? And what do you plan on doing, since you have children? What do you plan on doing about that?
Well, slavery being over as it once was, they have a point, because yeah, that part is over. However, as we all know, the prison industrial complex has reinvented slavery, in which the Clause B, a la the U.S. Constitution, the 13th Amendment, Clause B states that you are free until you commit a felony. So once you have committed a felony, therefore you have lost your freedom, so therefore you can be forced back into legalized slavery, which would be inducted into the penal system and working for basically next to nothing. So some people will say, well, hey, these people are criminals. So hey, yeah, what do you expect? What's a criminal supposed to do? Go to jail and get a free ride? I don't want my tax dollars just having them sitting plush in some jail, and I'm out here working and slaving. So, you know, shouldn't criminals get punished? The answer is yes, criminals should get punished. But it is the systematic approach that is taken to make sure that our black and our brown brothers out here do catch these felonies. It's a systematic approach to make sure that the conditions are in place so that Jimmy will be more likely to pick up a gun than a textbook, or who would be more likely to pick up a package, a kilo, rather than try to be a teacher.
Well, you can't say that, because many people, especially our own race, say that everyone has an opportunity. everyone had a choice to make. And I don't know names off the top of my head, but you have plenty of people who were in the ghetto, were surrounded by drugs and guns and violence, and or didn't even have a parent around, was raised by a grandmother who was already raising 10 other grandchildren, but they made it out. They became something, so you can't necessarily say that that the system has everybody placed and they're gonna go basically from the crib to the prison.
True.